action,
go.
So 25 years, obviously it's a long time. It's also a very short time in the big picture, as Stephen Hawking would say. But things evolve over that time period. Things have really evolved, and we actually really are grateful to some of our sponsors over the years. The Telluride Academy has also been incredibly supportive of our program. And we started really in 1986 with, I think, 10, 12, we're not sure.
9 girls.
9 girls, something like that. And we were at the Nugget Theater. Super funky. It was great.
It was the Galloping Goose
Slides through Telluride. There had been a big mudslide at the airport, and that was kind of one of the inspirations for our piece.
Right, the mudslide.
And
the Galloping Goose is still there, right?
Yes.
Is it trained?
Well, no.
No, it's not. Oh.
It's being fixed up in Ridgeway or something. I don't know what happened at Galloping Goose.
So 25 years, how has town changed?
But the kids, I remember the kids painting their own sets, and everything was just very bare bones. The Nugget was funky. There was no backstage. Somehow we made it work. And then, I don't know how many years we were at the Nugget, and then we moved to
the Opera House, which was a blast because it's so intimate. But we were like using the hotel behind us on top of the washing machine.
Yeah, if someone was on stilts, they'd have to sit on the washing machines in the hotel.
It was great. They'd be back with their little boxes
their
with
stilts
flashlights. But it was a great space. We had a ball in there. It kept growing. And more interest. And then Mike came in.
And more and more kids.
More kids.
More boys.
Mike came in.
Mike Stasic came in, I'm not sure exactly when. Maybe
20 years ago, because last year was his 21st year.
4 or 5 years into it, Mike joined us.
Right, so then that added to the size of how we were growing. And some of his props are very large, as you've seen.
The shows have always been, well, you know, that's a hard one to say. Can't do a sweeping statement on that. But the early shows in particular were Telluride, and then eccentric Telluride spinning out into the world, coming back in with lots of really important global characters in them. And I think one of the reasons we had those characters in there was to expose kids to some interesting people in the world.
But there's so many interesting people that come to this town. It's like a magnet. Yeah. So we're also reflecting town itself.
Yeah.
So, and we did a lot of historic stuff. We did Tomboy Bride stories, so we did the history with the kids. But then we got so big, and then the Palm came, and it's a state-of-the-art theater, and it was like, yes, let's have some more room. It was really hard to leave the Opera House, too, because you're so great. And now, after, we're not sure how many years, we've been in the Palm, 5 or 6, we're starting to understand how to use it. It's such a great space. We feel really lucky to be in there. It's so fun to work in. So we're at a whole little, it also took us a certain level of professionalism with the kids, really teaching them about the theater. How do you work in a theater? What are things called?
Yep.
What's your stage manager? What's your technical director? What's, all that stuff. So it's a really well-rounded program.
Yeah, and I'd say every single year we learn something new, or we try to get it to work better. I mean, and I think that's just anyone who's in the world, anybody who's creative, you keep wanting to get the formula just right. But we keep getting interesting curveballs thrown at us, and maybe you never get it just right. Maybe there's always something to work on.
And that's working on it, like don't overdo the piece. But
we
might have done that at moments.
Yeah, I don't know. It's just
anyways, it's been a great world to be a part of.
It's a wonderful journey.